Have you recently noticed changes in your older loved ones, but couldn't quite put your finger on why? They're still there, still sitting at the dining table, still offering a faint smile when you took, but something feels different. They sleep more, eat their meals, but seem to be getting thinner. The foods they once loved now don't seem to interest them anymore. And sometimes they say things like, "I don't think I have much time left," and then fall silent, as if it's not even surprising to them. You hear it, and it tugs at your heart, but then you tell yourself, it's probably just old age. But the truth is, some changes aren't just about aging. There are subtle yet very precise signs that indicate their body is transitioning into a different phase, a phase that marks the beginning of the end. These are 5 silent signs recorded in hospice care centers across the U.S. They're not frightening, but they are worth paying attention to. Because when you recognize them in time, you'll have the chance to be closer, to love them more deeply, and to leave nothing undone when those final moments arrive. If you think these signs are worth knowing, go ahead and follow the channel now. Not just for anyone else, but maybe next time you'll notice something in time for the person you love. Make sure to watch until the end of this video, because there's one sign that many still think is just normal. But when it appears, doctors know that time is limited. And now let's move on to the first sign: unexplained weight loss. There's a small change that's easy to overlook. Older adults start losing weight, even though they're eating the same as usual. Have you noticed? Their clothes start to loosen, the skin on their arms becomes flabby, and their faces look more hollow. Yet they say, "It's fine, I guess I'm just not moving as much." In reality, this is one of the first and most alarming signs that the body is entering its final phase. It's not that they're eating less, it's that their body can no longer absorb nutrients like it used to. The liver, intestines, and pancreas slow down. Metabolism decreases, muscles begin to break down just to maintain the minimum energy needed. At many end-of-life care centers across the U.S., unexplained weight loss, especially losing more than 5% of body weight over a few months, is considered the first red flag to check if someone may be entering their final year. Take Martha, 82, from Kansas. She still ate her usual soup and bread, but within 3 months, she lost nearly 7 kilograms. At first, her family thought, maybe it's good, she's eating less. But her doctor gave them one simple piece of advice. It's not because she's eating less, it's because her body can't retain it anymore. It's like a house with a hole in the roof. Rain comes in, but the water just drains out. The body at this stage is like that old house. It starts to leak at the seams. No matter how much you put in, it gradually leaks out. Sadly, many people still smile and try to hide it. They don't complain. They're afraid of being a burden. They say, "I'm still eating, don't worry." But this slow, silent weight loss is the first bell to listen to. Don't wait until they're frail and weak before rushing them to the doctor. Pay attention to their clothes, the food they're choosing, and those moments when they decline dishes they used to love. Weight loss isn't just about losing flesh. It's the first sign that life is quietly withdrawing. But this change isn't just about loose clothes or shrinking arms. There's another, more subtle sign. It might seem like the body is just resting more, but in reality, it's running low on life energy. The second sign is sleeping more, but still waking up tired. Remember when you had to beg your parents to take a nap? Now they don't need to be asked. They can sleep all morning, take an afternoon nap, and go to bed early at night, yet still wake up the next day saying, "I don't know why I'm so exhausted." It's not because they're lazy. It's not because they're sad. It's because their body is quietly shifting from an active mode to a preservation mode. This phenomenon is often referred to as global fatigue, a phase that typically happens 6 to 12 months before the body fully slows down. At this stage, the heart beats slower, blood pressure fluctuates, and oxygen levels in the blood drop a bit. The brain, liver, and kidneys are all conserving energy. As a result, older adults sleep more, but it's not the deep, refreshing kind of sleep. It's a sleep that doesn't truly recharge them. Take Mr. Ray, 81, from Arizona. He used to be an early riser, drinking coffee and walking around his yard every morning. But after a minor hospitalization, he started sleeping more. At first, his family thought he was just recovering, But soon he was sleeping until noon, napping in the afternoon and going to bed early, and still feeling sluggish. That's when the doctor explained his body is drawing down energy to prepare. It may sound simple, but that kind of sleep isn't rest. It's retreat. It's the body's natural way of signaling that it no longer wants to run at full speed. If you notice your loved ones starting to lose their alertness after sleep, don't just chalk it up to old age. Spend more time with them. Talk to them while they're still awake. Hold their hand when they open their eyes. Because every time they wake up, it might be one less than we think. Sleeping more but still feeling tired. That's how life begins to shrink, one sleep at a time. You see them lying there, but what's really happening is that their body is gradually shifting into a state of rest. Fatigue doesn't always show up in long naps. Sometimes it's in their eyes, in the way they shake their head at a dish they once loved, in the person who used to enjoy watching movies, tending to the garden, or listening to music, now no longer interested in any of it. This is the third sign, losing interest in things they once loved. There are those afternoons when you bring them their favorite cake. They smile and nod, but only nibble on a small corner. You play the song your dad used to hum. He listens to a few notes, then lies still staring at the ceiling. In the past, they would have reminded you to buy new books or told you to pick the best vegetables at the market. But now, everything feels fine, whatever. Just leave it for now. When someone is nearing the end, they often don't say goodbye. They begin to pull away from the things they once loved, things they once held dear. No tears, no words, just letting go. It's like a hand no longer gripping the spoon properly, or eyes that aren't focused on something familiar anymore. This is called emotional withdrawal, a subtle way for the body to retreat, like a light dimming before it fades entirely. Take Mrs. Linda, 83, from Ohio. She used to bake almond cakes every weekend, but recently when her daughter suggested making them again, she simply said, "I haven't felt like it in a long time." Or Mr. Thomas, who used to be passionate about baseball. Now he leaves the TV on during the game, his gaze drifting out the window. They're not sad, they're not angry, they're just no longer holding on to the things that once connected them to life. If you see your loved ones losing interest in the things that once brought them joy, don't try to pull them back with force. Instead, gently sit beside them and reminisce about the good memories. Be present. Let them know that if they have to let go of the past, at least they are still loved in the present. Because losing interest isn't about being tired of life. It's a sign that the heart is quietly preparing to leave behind the temporary. If you're still watching and find these insights helpful, please leave a 3 in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please follow the channel and turn on the bell so you won't miss any of our new videos. Your support helps us continue creating content that matters. After they lose interest in the things they once loved, another sign will start to show. Not through actions, but through words. They speak less or start talking as though they're about to go. This is the fourth sign. At some point, you might notice your parents or elderly loved ones begin to speak less. Or if they do speak, their words may start to feel like they're preparing to say goodbye. It's not because they're angry or have nothing left to say. It's simply that holding a long conversation can become too much. They begin to give shorter responses. They listen more than they speak. Sometimes they sit there, gazing off into the distance, as though they're remembering something from the past that no longer belongs to the present. And then occasionally they say strange things. When I go, make sure you keep those old albums. I just wish I could go back to the old country one more time. Or simply, I think it's enough now. No one teaches them to say things like this. It's an instinct, the quiet intuition of someone who knows their time may be running out. This is something modern medicine is starting to acknowledge. People can sense when the end is near. In end-of-life care in the US, nurses refer to this as the farewell talk, those quiet goodbyes when the person no longer asks, "When will I get better?" Instead, they begin to rearrange their past, making peace with it in their own way. Take Jim, 85, from Pennsylvania. In his final weeks, he lost interest in phone calls. But one afternoon, he called his 3 children together, took out small items one by one, and said, "This one is for Sarah. I bought this when your mother was still alive." No tears, no sadness, just a quiet tidying up, as if he was organizing the drawer of his life, folding up memories neatly before leaving. If you notice a loved one speaking less, speaking more slowly, or sharing things as though leaving a message, don't interrupt. Don't say, "Don't speak like that." Instead, listen, hold their hand, let them speak, because sometimes the words they leave behind in those moments are something you will carry with you forever. After these farewell words, you might start noticing even stranger changes. They might give things away, clean out drawers, or gaze off into the distance in a way that feels different. Sometimes an elderly loved one will suddenly clean obsessively. They pull out old boxes, wipe down picture frames, fold towels, and pack them into bags to give to you. "This sweater, your mother knitted it. Keep it. This outfit is for the grandchild. They can wear it for Christmas." They don't explain why, but you can feel it. It's not about tidying up. It's about letting go. In medicine, this is called a life review. Small actions to close a chapter, condense memories, pass things on, and quietly prepare to leave. They might return books they borrowed long ago, reach out to a friend they haven't spoken to in years, or say, "I want to go to the hairdresser one more time." No one tells them to do this. It's a deeply human instinct when a journey is about to close. Take Ruth, 86, from Oregon. In her final months, she folded each piece of clothing, set them aside with little notes for the people who would receive them. Leonard from Boston, who was usually reserved, spent an afternoon telling his grandchildren stories from his youth, as if that would be the last time he'd have the chance. Not everyone folds clothes, makes calls, or tells stories. Some simply choose silence. They sit by the window longer than usual, staring out as if they've seen something you haven't quite understood. If you see your loved one cleaning, giving away things, or sitting in silence, don't rush to change the subject or push them back into the usual rhythm of life. Slow down, listen, look closely, because in those small, strange actions, there may be a very soft, very calm, but also deeply beautiful goodbye. Now you know, it's not only when the doctor delivers bad news that we prepare to say goodbye. Sometimes your loved ones have already given a quiet warning through their ambulance, weight loss, indifference, distant stares, and soft words like, "I'll leave this for you," or "I don't think I have much time left." They don't say it outright, but they know, and now you know too. We can't extend life forever, but we can make the most of the time we have left. Sit with them a little longer, listen a little more closely, put aside the small tasks, and hold the hand of someone whose grip is slowly loosening. If someone specific comes to mind while watching this, don't wait for a special occasion. Call them tonight, send a text, buy them something they like. Ask them gently, "How have you been feeling lately?" And if you have ever experienced something like this, recognized a sign but didn't want to believe it, or regretted not acting in time, share your story in the comments, not just to recount, but to help others avoid the same regrets. If you think this video is worth sharing, send it to someone you care about. Because who knows, an early sign of attention, a simple question, or a shared understanding could make the difference between a full, meaningful goodbye season and lingering regret. Thank you for watching until the end. And if you still have your parents, grandparents, or loved ones, love them while you can before you're left only with memories.